Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming and thank you for attending. For those of you who are online, we greatly appreciate this. This is fantastic just to see this hybrid event come together. I know it's taken a while to get us here as we originally planned back in March, but we're so excited to have you. So the purpose of tonight's event is really just to discuss and provide an advocacy platform for those who are just getting started. For Boone County, 79% of our local employers employ less than 9 individuals. That just shows the economic impact that our small businesses make each and every day. And it's because of that that we are trying to create creative programs like this to shed light on those up and coming startups and small businesses that are making that community impact and that we want advocacy to grow. And so not only do residents know their existence, but also other small business owners know their existence. And lastly, just so we all can come together as a community and really support what it makes to be better in Boone. So as we really just kick it off, I want to say a huge special thank you to select groups of people, because without you, this event would not be as it is today. So with that, for our drink sponsors, specifically Traditions Realty and Century 21 Sheets, the Leanne Balta team, and Linda Lambert and John Bradley, thank you so much for your donations for the drink stations. They were so greatly appreciated. And with that, feel free to get a drink. We are excited to have Nameless being the caterer for today's event. Our food sponsors, IMPA, specifically Jenny Hartley, thank you for making that happen, as well as Almond Johnson. Thank you so much, Shelly and Deanna. We greatly appreciate your donation and just your support for the Boone EDC and our small businesses. Another special thank you is for the volunteers that put in to make this event come together. So that is specifically for the screening committee. So the screening committee were people who, the screening committee were people who came together, who reviewed all of the applications. We had 10 applicants apply to pitch at launch night tonight. And so we are super excited to have them. Tom Dahl, Angie Moody, Mike Kincaid, Vicki Hall, and Brad Thomas. Thank you all so much for your time and effort. We greatly appreciate it. And without you and your expertise, we wouldn't be here today. And another special shout out to the team at the Boone EDC, Amy Hammerling, Chastity Neckers, and whoops, let's get that on. Okay, Amy Hammerling, Chastity Neckers, and Molly. Thank you so much for your support. Couldn't have done this without you. And lastly, and last but not least, Matt Jackson and the Jackson Investment Group here. Matt and Kelly, thank you so much for opening this beautiful space and really just showing us how awesome it is to take an unused facility and revitalize it in the downtown area. So with that, I want to give an overview of Matt so he could come up and give a presentation, or not really a presentation, just talk about it. So Matt Jackson is the president of Jackson Investment Group. With over 14 years of experience in commercial real estate, Matt has completed more than 55 transaction values with more than $600 million. Jackson founded Jackson Investment Group in 2013 after multiple years of other commercial real estate firms. And so just a shout out of Matt and his camaraderie in this community. He's doing fantastic things. And so we wanted to showcase this space specifically of the opportunity that small businesses have downtown. And then with that also, they are our in-kind sponsor for the People's Choice Award. So for those tuning in online, as well as those for you in person, the People's Choice Award will be voted on by you, the audience, and they are our in-kind sponsorship of that. So with that, bring Matt on up, and just a huge shout out to all of those who have made this event possible.
And Matt, I am shocked at how, look at his logo, because you will start to see that everywhere.
A little bit, hopefully more, right? Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Thanks Molly, thanks Rachel, thanks everybody too for thinking about us when they were thinking of a place to hold this event. You know, it does definitely stick dear and near to me, just from the standpoint that, you know, I was raised here, lived here almost my entire life outside of college. even to my surprise. I think even to my surprise, but the description of what we do is probably the nuts and bolts of it. But my brother and I both still live in the community. My kids go to Western Boone schools. My dad was 11 and graduate. You guys have all probably seen the farm on 52 and 65. I mean, Jackson's been around here for a long time. And, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But the way we ended up with this building is kind of a neat story. I actually found a property in Broderick one. I told Bart, I was like, hey, we really need to look at this for a place for our office. Because in 2013, when I went out on my own, it was always assumed that I'd have to find a home. And at least from a buddy downtown for a long time, I still have an office down there, which is great, but it just never was quite ours. And so I found a place in Broderick and I said, hey, Bart, let's look at it. I think this is a great idea. We went and looked at it, or I went and looked at it. I loved it. He left. He goes, man, I just don't know. I said, what do you think now? He goes, well, why don't you find us a place in Lebanon? I was like, really? He said, yeah. And I said, okay. And I was like, well, any other ideas? He goes, yeah, make sure it's on the square and make sure it's a corner building. I said, okay, well, that's going to limit our options a little bit. And sure enough, I looked, I said, well, there's nothing available. He said, okay, we'll find something and make it available. And in all seriousness, with the work of actually a former Boone EDC member, Ben, we were on the phone together. He goes, hey, let's look at this. So we're literally on the phone together and we're looking at the property information. And he said, hey, this building on the corner where True Law Office and Patrick's office supply is, he said, that's owned by the Donaldson family. I said, okay, well, my grandfather used to be a pretty big supporter of them. And I'll never forget, I didn't know who to call. So I called him the Donaldson's Chocolate and I got George. And I said, hey, George, this is Matt Jackson. I'm not sure if you know him. And he goes, oh, I know who you are. And mostly due to my grandfather. And I said, well, hey, George, here's the scenario. There's a building in town. It's owned by Donaldson. Sure enough, he connected me to Carmen Donaldson, who was in charge of this project. And we sat down once, put together an idea of what we wanted to do. And she was a big, big instrumental part of making this happen. So we bought the building. I brought Kelly up the first time. She looked at it. She goes, what do you think? Because it was really, really bad. Really bad. But we all had a vision. I think after one time with the designer, because like, okay, I get it now. And through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, we ended up with this. And I mean, we couldn't be happier. And Bart, my brother Bart and I are here virtually on a daily basis. It's been a lot of fun just to be even more involved with the community and being here on a daily basis. Because it's one thing to go to Indy, work, come back, and then say, hey, one of my kids' stuff. But to be here on a daily basis has been pretty awesome. The city was fantastic to work with. The county's been fantastic to work with. And I can just tell you there's so many more projects that we'd love to be a part of going forward. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. So from the bottom of my heart, man, I'm a Boone County guy. So it's, we're going to be here forever. And I actually had a gal call me the other day. She's like, hey, can I see the space? And I said, sure. So I showed her the downstairs space that's available. And she's like, would you sell the building? I said, well, no, I wouldn't. And she goes, well, everything's for sale. I'm like, well, you can buy my home tomorrow, but you can't buy my building. I was like, this is going to be forever. And she's like, I actually understand that. So that's truly what we feel like at Jackson Investment Group, with me and my brother, his wife, my wife. But this is not just us, but this is the kids, it's the grandkids. We're going to be here for a long time. So thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Thank you again for letting me out this event. Glad we made it work. And I'm going to pass it off to Molly.
Well, thank you all for joining us again tonight. We've not had a chance to meet. I'm Molly Whitehead. I'm Executive Director of the Boone EDC. I want to thank those of you who are joining us virtually tonight. And we will ask just for a little bit of grace and patience for everybody. Putting together an event is always a feat in and of itself, but then adding on COVID and virtual, we have definitely learned a lot and hope that our technology holds through for us tonight. So please bear with us if anything does go wrong. We, at the Boone EDC, one of our missions is to support small business growth. As Rachel mentioned, small businesses make up approximately 80% of the businesses here in Boone County. And so we want to make sure that we are providing the right sort of support for those small businesses, so they not only want to come here, but they can thrive here, and that's the whole purpose of this event. And before we get too much farther, I know Rachel thanked Amy and me for helping her today, although I feel like I didn't do much. Rachel honestly has worked her tail off to make this event happen. And not only she planned it once or twice, this is actually the third time that we've tried to hold this event this year. And so she's been incredibly flexible, and we're just so grateful to have her as a member of the Boone EDC. And also, today is her birthday. So we're not singing, no one knows that now. Rachel's probably also very unhappy with me bringing that up, but oh well. So that said, please make sure to thank her and wish her a happy birthday before you head out tonight, because she really is, she's a fantastic advocate for small businesses, and we're just so thankful to have her. So with that, we will get the show started. First, I'm going to introduce each of our judges that we have with us tonight. It's important to us to pick local small business owners, people who understand what it's like to be a small business owner and the challenges that come with it. So first up, we have Jeremy Brown. He is with Nameless Catering. He is a lifelong restaurant worker turned entrepreneur. And Jeremy opened Nameless Catering here in Boone County with only $500 of startup cash, soared to over $3 million in sales in the first 20 months. So Jeremy, thank you so much. Next, we have Cass Miller. Feel free to wave your hands, everybody knows. Cass, thank you. Cass Miller is the owner of Fun Days Ice Cream. Hopefully you've all had a chance to visit. They're in Whitestown. It's based on the family love of ice cream. Cass and her husband Donnie wanted to create a family-friendly space where families could come together and enjoy the small things in life, like ice cream. So Fun Days has not only their Whitestown location, but has recently opened in Speedway as well. So we're thrilled to have seen their growth. And last but not least, we have J.D. Schomburg. He is Director of Business Development at Online Resources here in Lebanon. In his day-to-day role, J.D. develops long-term strategic relationships and leads growth initiatives in current market segments and develops new market segments. That was a lot. Based in Lebanon, as I mentioned, Online Resources was started by Tina and Jay Schomburg in 1991 as a software company, and the company continues to solve manufacturing challenges through the use of emerging technologies to date. So thank you again to our judges. They will be not only scoring all of the participants here tonight, but we'll have a Q&A with the judges as well, so that they can ask each of the participants questions that pop up. So we will get to our pitchers now. It's my pleasure to announce our first pitcher of tonight's event, Grace Truck, represented by owners Jeremiah and Amanda Clark. Please join me in welcoming them.
Hi, we are Grace Truck. We're so excited to be here with you tonight, and we're really thankful for the EDC for putting this on and giving us an opportunity to tell you a little bit more about what we are, who we do, what we do. So the plan is for Jeremiah. He's been named Nuvo's Best Chef. He has worked for one of the world's top restaurant groups in Napa Valley. He has led restaurants to be named in the top 25 of Vending Monthly. He's really good at creating menus, controlling food costs, building pricing. So with his experience in being in some different like lunch and breakfast spots, but also working for really high-end pre-fee menu kind of restaurants, we're diverse in what we can do, but we also know who we are, and we love being able to do some fancier private dinner type stuff, along with what we do on our food truck and giving people a thoughtful option for an everyday kind of opportunity. Jeremiah also has a following from years in the indie food scene. He's been a chef for about 15 years, and the ability to carry some of those people with you that start following you around is a really cool thing.
Andy and I have been married for 11 years. We have 4 children, from 9 to 1. She has a marketing degree from Trine University and manages Grace Food Truck's social media and communication. We've been privileged to work together full-time since starting launching Grace Truck in December of 2019. A couple of years ago, my schedule was not working for any of us. We were invested in our church community. We homeschool our kids. We maintain fitness routines. Mandy's a swim coach in Zionsville. We wanted to stay close to home, primarily in Boone County, and we are often found in Whitestown with visits to Lebanon, Zionsville, and occasionally other counties. We now have the ability to have our long days together. And it's a gift, and both of us say at least a couple times a week that we love working together.
We also have moments where, we're a little grumpy about it, but we are very grateful. Cost management is really important in any kind of food organization, food truck, restaurant, catering, and Jeremiah is really awesome at that. We don't rely on people entering our food truck, so that's been really helpful during COVID. Even delivery people don't enter the truck, it's just us. Once in a while, when we have a large event, we'll have somebody helping us out. But by and large, it's just us. We use small farms. So local as much as possible. When we run out of eggs, we get them from Little by Little, which is in Zionsville. But a lot of our eggs come from an Amish farm a little bit south. And our produce and meat a lot of times comes from that same farm. We had the opportunity to take our kids there to visit the farm, which was really interesting. They've never experienced an Amish family, so that was super interesting for all of us. We know our protein farmers. We don't place a big order through the internet. Like, we literally text our farmers, talk to them about what they have. Sometimes, like, they'll be like, we're low on this for whatever reason, it comes fresh. So that's really awesome. We've also been able to, the Amish farm that we get our eggs from, we get our syrup from a nearby farm. So also the Amish farmer that does our eggs, his brother does our syrup. So that's a really cool thing. And the effects of local purchasing don't just benefit us. They benefit you. It reduces our footprint, brings more money into the community, keeps it close to home.
One of our niches that we feel is thoughtful food. Many quick options are highly processed, unhealthy, fried. So we offer something different. We have the ability to be keto, vegan, gluten-free, vegetarian. And a lot of our customers visit us multiple times a week, buying stuff for the next day or for dinner as well.
We know that investing in businesses is a risky thing. We started in the winter, which is a crazy time to start a food truck, and we really haven't known anything other than winter and COVID. So restaurants have a super high failure rate because of people not understanding food costing. We have the benefit of Jeremiah having worked for years in restaurants, run successful ones, worked for some really good business people, worked for some that weren't so great, and seen a lot of things that makes us a more powerful component in the community. So we are adaptable and flexible. 60% of restaurants fail in their first year, and 80% before their 5th anniversary. Multiply that for COVID, and you have an incredibly high failure rate. We feel like we're a more sure thing because of our experience and our connection, and we're so glad to be here with you guys and be able to tell you about that.
Thank you very much. Have a great time.
Or you can keep that. Questions. Sorry.
Drop the ball. I was paying attention. Q&A now, correct, from our judges. In lieu of passing around a microphone, I'm happy to repeat your questions if you would like.
Sure. So you had talked about the supply line with the local farmers and the produce and all that kind of stuff. What happens if you get to the point where you're hired by Whitestown? So Whitestown calls you and says, "We want you to cater a food truck at this park every Saturday for 2,000 people every Saturday for the entire summer? Can the farm keep up? If the farm can't keep up, what do you do?
The question real quick for online viewers, in case they couldn't hear, was about the supply. So for instance, if you've got an event in Whitestown, 2,000 people or so, can your farm keep up with that? Can you keep up with the supply, or the demand rather?
Fisher Farms is where we get most of our protein from, and they are decently sized, and they have, anytime I've ever needed them, they're on it, and even with very short notice. They also source a little bit from other farms, so they don't raise everything on their farm. Chicken, for example. So they have, they also source from other local farmers in the area.
And like I said, we have some vegan options too, so that gives us the ability to kind of balance out, a lot of our options are not meat heavy.
Did your plans change once COVID had hit? Did you have to evolve and
Yes.
your
Yeah, so there's been a lot of adapting involved in that, just because, when we first started, we were like, winter's gonna be hard, but like, we're gonna be scheduling weddings and we're gonna be scheduling events and like all of these things. And we had, like, this is the plan. And then like COVID hit and there's no gatherings and we're like, what? So, it's just an opportunity for God to really show up, and like, neighborhoods have been primarily what we've been doing, and primarily in Boone County. It's close to home. Our kids, if you've seen us out and about, you know that our kids are usually with us. And so neighborhoods have actually been kind of a blessing, and it gives us the ability to go to people, bring them something when they haven't had an opportunity to go out. So people have been a little bit stir crazy, giving them a safe option, like, hey, you can socially distance, get something, feel like you're getting out for a minute. So.
Probably have a couple questions, but the first is, what's your scalability goal? How large do you want to be? Do you want multiple? Do you want a single? What do you guys see there?
Scalability goals.
We love where we're at, and with this grant, we would use it for marketing and to widen our range of consumers. But we love being a one-truck shop, and we do look forward to possibly doing some farm dinners. I mean, when we can be socially distanced on a farm and doing that sort of thing. But we love the ability to keep it small and profitable.
And then you briefly talked about customers. Do you have like a very target customer that you're going after, like age group, lifestyle?
So it's interesting because our menu has a wide range, like, we can speak to vegans, but we also have like a really good Cuban with local pork and local ham. We have stuff that's gluten-free, but we also have stuff that's, like we make our English muffins and they are really good, but not gluten-free. So no, it is not going to be the person that wants to spend $3 on a McDonald's, in the morning. We're probably about double the price of McDonald's, but better, cleaner. So our target customer is just someone who wants to be involved in their community, support a local business, and eat something really good, because we have a wide range.
I just have one more question. I don't know a ton about the food truck space, but I know that the one thing I do know is that they're traditionally successful in large cities, so Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, things like that. And I haven't seen a ton of success in Indianapolis, just because Indianapolis is so wide. So in Chicago, you can park outside of one building and you have 5,000 people in the building, and that's all you have to do. But in Indianapolis, our biggest building is Salesforce Tower, and it's just not that big.
Yeah.
The trucks that I have seen success on, they actually cook at a commissary kitchen, and they hold on the truck and they serve. So Max Genie was a food truck that I'm not sure if they're still around, but they were successful at one point. Do you physically cook on the truck, or do you have a commissary kitchen where you cook somewhere else, or is a commissary kitchen in the works to where you could do a 500-person wedding or a 5,000-person event, or is it exclusively always going to be cooking on the truck?
We do have a company.
I'm not going to read. Okay.
We do have a commissary kitchen, but it's just the whole things. We cook everything on the truck to order for the most part, such roasting pork and things that take more plus hours. But we actually have an event tomorrow for 510 people. That will be all on the truck. So we do have the capability of doing large quantities of people with limited menu, of course. But
Because you have the trailer as well, correct?
yes, it's a truck. And the trailer is where all the action happens.
Story of my life.
And just to speak to, like the size of the city and stuff, it's been surprising. Like, really, we spent most of our winter here in Lebanon, a lot of it on the square. And, giving people an option, giving people something to do has been good. We prefer to be in Boone County. We've done some stuff in Indy and had some decent days. But I think you'd be surprised, like, coming out. So there is some targeting of events and stuff that helps us definitely sustain. But building a following and having people know where you are that live and work in Boone County, like we see people like, leave work at lunch and come to us, and we'll have heavier rushes at certain times of the day, typically lunch, sometimes breakfast. So just us like creating an online presence where people know where we are has been, more successful than you might think, even in little Boone County.
Okay, with that, we're done.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next picture, you may have seen your name at some of the local community events. We have Boone Brews, where Patrick Booth is being represented.
Hi. Hello, my name is Patrick Close. I'm the founder of Close Brews. Problem we're solving. The population of Lebanon has grown 30% since 1990, yet discretionary entertainment and dining budgets are not being used locally. Our solution, Lebanon's first production brewery. It would be located right here in historic heart of Lebanon. We would do it with a craft brewery operated by an experienced brewmaster, a locally sourced, affordable family micro kitchen. We say micro, our goal is to get a full-scale restaurant. We'll do that based upon demand. Target market, within 10 miles of our location, we have about 18,000 prospects. Our competitive landscape. We're all being real. If you're going on a date night, it's usually not in Lebanon. It's usually traveling to another city, right? So we want to fill that void. We want to offer lower pricing, family-friendly, vibrant atmosphere, locally sourced. So we plan to use St. Adrian Meats right here in downtown Lebanon. All of our beer is made from Sugar Creek Malt Co. This is really what separates us from any other brewery in Indiana. Truly, every single beer I've ever brewed, it comes from Lebanon, Indiana, as far as the malt, which is the main ingredient. Sales, we expect our sales to be from production of our brews. Year one, we project we're going to produce 500 barrels of beer. 90% of that will be sold directly to our consumers at our brewery. We'll round off the brand by offering craft soda, spirits, wine, and a limited food menu, as I stated. Marketing activities. So I founded Close Brews with $1,500. It's a passion and a dream of mine. I used social media to raise over $100,000 and 3 investors. So marketing is my passion as well as the brewery. From that point on, we stayed to marketing via social media. We started attending local festivals. We attended 6 last year. We had 8 planned for 2020. COVID kind of put a damper on that, but it was an opportunity to test the market. Lebanon's not had a brewery. It was kind of a risk-free opportunity. Here's some examples of our marketing. So see Sugar Creek Malt Co. right here in Lebanon. So the same grain we buy from Lebanon farmers goes back to Lebanon farmers as feed. At Savor Lebanon in February, we did 10 beers, the most I've ever seen at a festival. Arctic Blueberry, again, we rolled this out in February. It benefits the ARC, so we want to be highly involved in our community. So we will do monthly beers releases that benefit local charities. We've also positioned ourselves with Titus Bakery. More to come on that. But our financial projections, we estimate our revenue would be about $560,000 year one. Because we are new, we're a startup, our expenses and costs will eat the majority of that. As our food menu offerings expand, we do plan to level off and get better margins. Milestones. I founded Clues Brews in April 2019. I met my startup funding goal by July. December, early February, we were really moving forward, permitting and so on and so forth. COVID happened, our bank pulled out our funding. Every single day since that point, I've been working on this. We finally have landed in a good position. So I would fully believe we'll be fully funded by a local bank here in the next 30 days. At that point, we would sign our lease, hire a general contractor, and begin construction. So here's our mission statement. At Clues Brews, we have a deep passion for concocting quality handcrafted brews at our Artisan Brewery and Kitchen in the heart of historic Lebanon, Indiana. We love highlighting bold local flavors and fostering an environment of irresistible fun for everyone. As local longtime residents ourselves, we are committed to invest in the time, talent, and resources needed to make Clues Brews a dining and entertainment destination that makes our community proud.
Barely, maybe. Close. Okay, questions from the judges? Yes.
Do you have plans for outdoor space, live entertainment?
Outdoor space, live entertainment was the question.
That is exactly the,
I think so.
that is the contingency on our loan, actually. So we've had to pivot and adapt almost our entire business model has to move outdoors to even get this thing off the ground. So yes, we will have, we're actually adapting our brand. It'll be brewery, beer garden, a large outdoor space.
I don't have a major question. You talked about the family-friendly entertainment, and you just mentioned the outdoor dining and the music space and that type of thing. Is there anything else in terms of an entertainment perspective? I've got a 5-year-old, so her going to see a live band, unless it's like Flippy or Flippy, that's what it is, Flippy. Yeah, unless it's,
I have a 5-year-old, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. She's asking. So unless it's Flippy, she's not interested. So is there anything from a that a 5-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old can go with me?
Could you try again?
Nope. To the brewery and hang out while I have beer.
So we plan to address that from a handcrafted soda perspective. So think of old time soda fountain machines. That perspective is where we want to really bridge that gap. So no, I'm not going to bring Blippi to Lebanon, even though my kid loves it too. It is a brewery, it is a restaurant, but it is family oriented.
Is there a brewery that's inspired you?
There's many. So I've actually been brewing for 7 years. Probably the most inspirational is what actually even started my goal is Sun King and their early success. They were the first really to Indiana and to Indianapolis per se. So how they stole the market there from day one is really my goal here.
Final question. What will you do different that Peoples didn't do right? Because Peoples was open here and now they're not.
So the question was comparison to People's Brewery that was here in Lebanon. What would you do differently?
So I'm born in local Lebanon. So that's really the difference, right? They are from Lafayette. They're highly invested in Lafayette. I will be highly invested in Lebanon and my community and the beers that I produce.
Any other questions from the judges? Rachel's not here to give me time, so I'm assuming
We're good.
we're good. As in, we're done with questions? We're good?
We have about 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left. Final questions.
If you kind of pivoted your, business plan to more outdoors, what would you do in the winter?
So we had plans, everything, it's just very fluid, but we had plans to kind of do an all-season outdoor space to bridge that gap. But we also have enough of an interior space that we could spread people out 6 feet apart and do that as well. And we've also proven, consulting with local breweries like Baxter Brewery there in Crawfordsville, that they are able to sustain in COVID, even just sending growlers and cans to the door. The revenues were cut about 50%, but that is more than adequate enough to maintain your business. And like the banks have requested this, I wrote a 40-page COVID plan, basically. So I'm prepared for that.
All right, now we're done. Thank you, Patrick. Now that we know about Lippy, I'm gonna count myself lucky that I have no idea who that
He's
is.
a grown man. He's thinking man.
I think I'm good. So we'll switch gears. Unintended for all you tinkerers out there. Rachel wrote that. It's my pleasure to that's pretty good, right? It's my pleasure to welcome to the stage Brian Hall with Maker Factory. Welcome up, Brian.
Thank you. My name is Brian Hall with Maker Factory. And I'm going to talk about maker spaces. Just a real quick, how many of you know what a maker space is? Just by raising your hand. Okay. All right. Maker spaces make impossible tasks possible through community. Okay. So it's a space that physically houses equipment, people, and organizes and develops their projects. A person can walk into a makerspace and then the same day invent something totally original. Have you ever wanted to learn about a 3D printer or build a robot or try welding at a makerspace? You can do those things. Okay. It's like a gym, but with 3D printing, metalworking, and wood shop. The makerspace drives a strong local economy by allowing individuals and entrepreneurs a space to innovate. I have a Bachelor's of Fine Arts degree, and I come from an art and design background. I also have a minor in philosophy and have worked as an engineer for about 10 years, designing and developing products for companies. A lot of my creative spirit comes from growing up in a household that was actively making and fixing and engineering solutions to problems. After my father died in 2008, I decided to open the Maker Factory. And that was opened in May, initially opened in May 2019. We physically got a space in November 2019. So when COVID hit, our economy was not prepared. Our supply chain was disrupted and shipments from overseas supplies stopped. As a makerspace, we answered the call to hospitals when they needed PPE. We 3D printed 70 face shields and gave them to Witham hospitals. We developed N95 filter adapters for hospitals. We also worked with Carmel Dentist Practice to scan people's faces and 3D print custom fit masks for those dentists. Okay, so makerspaces have tremendous benefit for local economies. The Forge Makerspace in Greensboro had 13 new businesses formed and 9 new patents filed in the first year of operation. Portland Makerspace created Portland Made Collective, and they added $32 million to their local economy in the first 3 years. Okay. Makerspace is a great training place. We develop a lot of skills, and it's a great place to have workshops and classes for people who want to try new skills. Makerspaces are great collaborators with local organizations and libraries. One of the slides here is a member who built a Lego city at the Designsville Library. So how we measure success as a makerspace evolves from the people that use the space. So we prioritize what the community needs, what the community wants, and how we shape that space. So that's what we're trying to succeed at, is providing where there's gaps in the community. We also have successfully offered a lot of custom fabrication and construction projects in the area. And so there's 400 maker spaces in the United States and 1,400 worldwide. There are 3 spaces in Indianapolis and more throughout the state. We estimate about 250,000 people in the Northwest area and about estimated 100,000 potential customers.
And we're actually out of time.
Oh, yeah.
We are
All right.
out of time. Ready for questions. 5 minutes goes by too fast, doesn't it?
Can you go ahead and keep this slide up, because maybe my question has something to do with it. There's a couple other makerspaces in the area,
Yes.
Lafayette being one of those, that have not shown positive, have been in the black, and they've been funded mostly through local, their government or other businesses. Have you seen that same kind of challenge?
So JD's question for everybody listening online was about some of the other maker spaces in the area that have not yet been in the black.
Yeah, so maker spaces are like a lot of other businesses, restaurants, gyms, construction companies. Some thrive and some fail. And there's been a number of maker spaces that have failed for various reasons, but there are still 400 in the United States, and they're well used. A little bit of a hit with COVID to memberships and their ability to hold events, but largely there's still very interesting things going on at makerspaces.
Does the impact of a makerspace, is it directly correlated with the amount of cash available to buy some of the tools and technology to do the things? I mean, you have to buy the awesome 3D printers and the awesome welding machines and all the things that are involved in makerspace. I mean, do you require $1 million worth of assets in order to make a makerspace make?
Well, a makerspace has sort of grown out of a grassroots kind of movement almost. So it's like the person who has a shop in their garage sort of gets together with a bunch of other friends and they rent a space and they put a bunch of 3D printers and equipment in it, and before they know it, they got like 50 different members there. So it's how I've started it. It's very similar. I started out small, doing contract work, and just got more space as I needed it and as more people get involved. But yes, it can. There are spaces that take out $200,000 to just buy equipment and space.
Curious from a liability perspective, is there like specific training before people can use certain machines, or how does that work?
Question was about liability. How does that work? Do people require training before they can use certain machines?
Yeah, so there are a lot of training handbooks out there, programs. We do not put anybody on a machine that they're not ready for. There's a series of classes and workshops that members can get involved with to learn how to operate machinery. Anything that's super dangerous, we probably just wouldn't even let people touch it. They would just ask a employee to operate it for them or cut something off.
I have two questions. How many customers have you had since you've been open, roughly, or members, or however you're breaking it down? And then two, you mentioned that you're doing some engineering services. Do you have like error and emissions and coverage for all of that kind of stuff? How are you working now?
So the first question, yeah, and also you guys are talking this way, the audience probably can't, audience probably can't hear your questions either. So the first question was how many participants, how many customers, how many people have used it? And the second part of your question, JD, was?
Just the liability of engineering services.
Liability of engineering services.
Okay, yeah, so we have, just like a normal construction company, we have insurance, $1 million liability, so if something happens, but it's just very similar to like a handyman or a construction type business. The members, we had several under 10, and we just opened really in December. We had our open house, and then like a month later, COVID hit, so we've virtually been shut down mostly. But throughout that time, we've had people call, ask for services, and come in and do small projects. And we've done over 50 projects in this local area. Just say, hey, somebody has an idea for a railing or something like that, or we would just build it for them. So we are currently making revenue.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Brian, thank you. Okay, next up, we're still talking about making creative things. So we will welcome up McCormick Novelty, represented by Jody and Matthew McCormick. Welcome.
Just give me Joey 1 second. Hello, and it's good to see everybody. Thank you again for having us. So like Rachel had said, we are McCormick Novelty. We are an intergenerational business. So my name is Jody McCormick. This is Matthew McCormick, and we have Nita and Tom here as well, we're all equal partners in this business. So what do we do? We make customized products for businesses, for communities, and especially for you. So everything that we make is 100% customizable. We have dozens and dozens and dozens, probably thousands of ideas and templates that we can go based off of. So everything that's going to be showcased in this PowerPoint are things that we have created, things that are for sale. So I'll give you just a second to kind of peruse over this slide just to see where we're going and the points we're hoping to hit.
But while you're reading that, I also want to bring up something else that's gone. It's okay. Here we go. So here's our mission statement. Our mission is to make creative pieces using cutting edge technology with different forms of media. What's most important to us is to provide a quality product or to deliver services that enhance our customer's brand. Now that is key right there, is to enhance the brand. So similar to the Maker Factory, we have tons and tons of fun technology like laser cutters, CNC routers, 3D printers, the works. We have a very wide market network, so we can go anywhere from game shops to breweries to weddings. The possibilities truly are endless. Currently, we are focusing on restaurants and gaming industries. I mentioned the next generation technology, and again, one of our core values is to create unity among local businesses. So, for example, yeah, let's have Rachel come on up and get that going.
Might just hit the close.
Yeah, hit the space bar.
Sorry, she just asked us not to worry about the computer.
Thank you for your patience.
Yep, thank you very much.
We got a generator in the truck.
Hold on, I'm pausing so you don't lose
Perfect,
seconds
thank
over
you
that.
so much.
You're welcome.
And don't worry, I'll let Matt talk to you.
I feel like I'm like right dead center of this. Sorry if you're tuning in online.
Rachel got two of the Boone EDC office and back.
What's that?
She got two of the Boone EDC office and back so quick.
Not bad, not bad.
Oh, wait, let me get out of your way and let's restart that.
All right, take two, let's go. So like I mentioned before, we're trying to cultivate unity in the local community. Here's an example of what we can create. Oh, it went backwards, let me go. You give us your brand and we make you shine. So that's our whole entire purpose here, is to make our customers look good and to customize every little thing that they might want. Here's an example of some of the coasters that we're creating. We are distributing these to breweries, restaurants, etc. And they can even be used as awesome party favors at a wedding. So we can create things that are practical, like these pen holders. Or we can create things that are completely creative and express exactly who you are. So either way, we are very thankful that you were patient with us as we were rocking through those technology issues. And I'm looking forward to talking with each and every one of you as we move forward. I'm going to hand it to Matt for questions.
Okay, questions from the judges.
So sorry, on the catering company, we spend a lot of time with trying to find unique things to give to our customers, our employees. I'm wearing a custom-made belt buckle that I made, right now. And so there's there's an infinite market, like you said. There's weddings, birthday party. There's so many different things you can make so much stuff for. But there's also a million people doing it, and they're selling it for really cheap. And you have different levels of quality. So you go on Amazon, and I can buy a custom-made belt buckle. I get it. It's $4 and it's tinfoil. Or I spend $75 and I get it. It's awesome, handmade. How do you differentiate yourself when you start to make these things? Like, how do you compete with all the losers, all the Chinese stuff coming over? That's all garbage. Like, how do you differentiate yourself to make it seem like you're not the same garbage that's on Amazon, that you're actually local handmade stuff?
Okay, so real quick, I'm going to summarize all that. It was a fantastic point, fantastic question. Question was about how do you differentiate yourself when there's so many other players in this market? I think I remember it.
Yes, that's a great question. And that's something that we've tried to really focus on. The biggest thing that I'd like to say to that particular is every single thing that we make and that we provide to a customer or to a business, whether it's a mass-produced product or a single unique novelty piece, is something that I've made with my own hands, and I guarantee the quality. And if the quality is not meeting up to the satisfaction, I'll be willing to take the customer's demand on that. If there's something else that they'd like or a change, if there's a custom design or an adaptation that they need, we are flexible to provide that service and provide qualities for that. Recently, we have sold a few particular resin models that we've manufactured and made, and the customers that I've sold to, if something is broken or if they accidentally broke something that we've made, we have offered replacements for a cheaper cost. Everything that is about us that we provide is personal and it's for the community. And not that it's just a single transaction that we give you one thing and then it's done, the deal's up. I mean, we both go our separate ways. We stay involved, and we want to keep being that resource for you for those needs.
What's your follow-up question on it? What's your stamina on it? And what I mean, like, there's so much opportunity with what you guys are doing. I mean, with whether it's selling on Amazon, selling on eBay, hitting up every small business or large business in the city, creating custom this and custom that, custom Christmas ornaments, you know, a nameless catering Christmas ornament for one of my clients' Christmas trees. I'd buy the show those. So, like, how do you, like, how aggressive are you willing to be? Like, how many hours a week are you willing to put into growing business?
Well,
Real quick. Sorry, nothing like disrupting your flow. The question was about like what is their stamina? How many hours are you willing to put in? Go.
Well, for all four of us, this business was a goal to launch. This is something we've done for many years in small segments and increments with different people that have been interested in the things that we provide. But this year was supposed to be our launch year. And when COVID happened, for sustainability, we had to reconsider what the economy could handle and if we could handle the demand for the specific people we've gone to. In the last few months, I've gone all the way from cold pitching, going into different places and speaking with managers or speaking with owners to offer services or products that we've made. And we've gone in we've looked into different markets to see if there's a product or service we can provide there that'd be desirable. So we're really passionate. We really want this. I know opportunities come and flow. They ebb and flow, and the market with COVID has done roller coasters in the last few months. But this is something we want to continue to pursue, and this is what, honestly, I hope to be my full-time career at some point.
So you said you've been doing this. What's your kind of, who are your customers, or you don't have to give names, but like how many customers you have, what kind of like cash flow have you seen come in so far, and how do you see growing that?
Question was how many customers, what has cash flow been like, and how do you see growing your business?
There have been times where we've had multi-$1,000 orders that we have fulfilled in a few days for a company who wanted Christmas ornaments. There have been times where we have sold, we've had deals for a specific item that was worth $200. We have made custom display signs for a business that was just starting up and opening. And so it's kind of been all over the place as far as opportunities in the last few years. Again, this is the first year that we've attempted to want to pursue a sustainable business model and to really try to get a consistent clientele for the services that we offer. And so that's a great question. That's something that I really want to, I think we all really want to pursue on what the market would look like specifically for Lebanon.
Any other questions? Okay, if not, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Last but not least, please join me in welcoming Lisa Condas and Nancy and Paco. Zionsville Urban Farms.
Yes.
Probably should have introduced your business while we got it.
Jason, you want to say it on your X? Awesome. Okay.
Good evening. We are excited to be here tonight and share our new business, making produce available to everyone in a way that improves the environment. We do this by selling patented technology called Tower Garden. We provide education on how anyone can easily grow fresh, nutritious food indoors, outdoors, in any climate, all year round. Scienceville Urban Farms was created to give my son Jason a vocation, all while helping to create access to local, healthy, nutritious food. Jason will be 18 years old in 3 days. He was born profoundly deaf and has autism, but he was also born with a love for life, animals and nature, and making people happy. We care deeply about the future. Through Scienceville Urban Farms, we will help create sustainable, healthy food solutions for the next generation by preserving precious water, soil, and reducing the carbon footprint. Tower gardens use aeroponics, and this is the process of growing plants without soil, only using water and nutrients. Our innovative method results in faster growth and more nutritious plants, all while using fewer natural resources. Seeds are grown in rock wool and placed in a tower garden, while the nutrient solution is pumped up to the top of the tower and then dripped down over the roots. Currently, 80 to 90% of our fresh water is used for agriculture, and experts predict that we will have a severe water shortage by 2050. Using 98% less water than traditional agriculture, vertical tower gardening and tower farming is one of the best solutions. Our closed system technology recycles 100% of the water and nutrients over and over again. The average plant travels over 2,500 miles to get to our plate, losing almost 80% of its nutrition and most of its flavor. The solution is going local, and you don't get any more local than your own kitchen. Yes, Jason. Hang on just a second, buddy. Tower Garden, you can say thank you at the end. Tower Garden has little carbon footprint and food waste. And did you know that 45% of our landfill is food containers and food waste? Tower Gardens are the best, most important new household appliance, and you can grow food just about anywhere. You can grow in an office, you can grow in a basement playroom, you can grow outside when it's -4 degrees outside. Or did I say grow outside? You can grow inside. You cannot, trust me, you can't grow outside. You can grow inside when it's -4 degrees outside. Tower Farms can feed a community in as little as 200 square feet. Tower farms are found in commercial buildings, on rooftops, and even in O'Hare Airport. Tower gardens are fantastic in the classroom and homeschooling, and we have a STEM curriculum for preschool through 8th grade, and we all know that kids eat what they grow. Until now, Zionsville Urban Farms has been virtual, and I'm excited to announce that we are exploring the opportunity to expand our virtual operations to a tower farm. Hang on just a second, I promise you can talk. We will build a tower farm inside this beautiful old barn, which is on the National Historic Registry, and it's in the heart of Zionsville. We will go from a sole proprietor to a benefit corporation, and we'll be the first one in Boone County. A benefit corporation is the only corporate form that is specifically designed to be mission-driven. Our business model is for Zionsville Urban Farms to be a demonstration farm so that people can come to this beautiful old farm and see this brand new technology. So the produce that we grow in our demonstration farm will be donated to nonprofit organizations. Tower farms come in all shapes and sizes, and this tiny little corner of this old barn, we will be able to grow 880 crops. And then we'll demonstrate that you can grow pretty much anywhere. We estimate that our cost will be about $1,200 a month, but we only have a growing cycle of 25 days, and that produces over 1,100 harvests, and that's a lot of nutritious food. We also will have sponsorships. Yep, that's okay. Our current and future revenues come from direct tower sales and residential and school and corporate monthly service agreements. Additional revenue will come from fees for our unique educational programs.
Oh, just in time.
So we appreciate the opportunity to share our business. If we win tonight, we will launch our benefit corporation, finalize our lease agreement for our barn, and complete our business plan. Thank you so much. Can you say thank you?
Questions?
Question.
So is this your product or is this?
This is a patented product, and so I am a distributor, but I do not create the product myself. And as a direct distributor, I also do not have to have inventory. So when I sell a tower garden, I get a commission, but then my service and education is what people additionally pay for. And so it goes directly from the manufacturer to the customer.
Is it tied to network marketing in any way?
It is.
Question was whether it was tied to network marketing.
It is, the Juice Plus company.
What's the price point?
So the price point is for each tower garden, the Tower Garden Home, we only have 2 models. So the Tower Garden Home and the Tower Garden Flex for Indiana, you would need to buy the accessories such as the lights and those kinds of things to grow indoors. And they're about $1,000 each. And that is with all the accessories that you would need to grow indoors and outdoors. And we use the exact same tower, the Tower Garden Flex for the tower farms, and they go from 5 feet to 11 feet high. So for a tower farm, each tower has 44 crops.
Is it a special solution?
It is. It's a special solution that is minerals, and they're all earth minerals that go into the water.
So what's the, I guess what's the ongoing cost for that?
Question was, what are the ongoing costs for that?
So the ongoing cost to grow in a tower farm or a tower garden would be your seeds, your nutrient solution, and the rock wool, which is the growing medium. And the rock wool is about 9 cents per plant.
So what's like your general cost per harvest?
General cost, sorry. General cost per harvest was the question.
I don't have a general cost per harvest. It would kind of depend on what the crop was because of the growing time. And so lettuce versus something like an herb such as rosemary, it really varies. But we do have a lot of support from Tower Farm, where they have experts in agricultural support to help me. So if I was to sell a Tower Farm, and I'm really interested in doing that in food deserts and those kinds of things. So again, Scienceville Urban Farms will be a demonstration farm where people can come and see what is this technology. We're also going to have lots of educational opportunities to show farming of the past, the present, and the future. So then when people buy those, create their own Tower Farm, or residents have Tower Gardens, that's where my income primarily comes from.
Are you limited to the specific crops available from the Tower Farm company, or can you do any type of crop you want, or is it like choose from this catalog of crops or you can do whatever you want?
Question was, could you do whatever you want in terms of the crops that you plant? You have to go through that particular company.
Great question. No, you actually can grow anything that has a root. You cannot grow root vegetables, and you can't grow like shrubbery. But I have right now watermelon, and I've got sunflowers, and I have kale and spinach and all sorts of things. But one of my passions is seeds and being able to preserve seeds. About 90% of our seeds right now are going extinct. So I want at the barn, this old barn, I want to have a seed library and where we can cultivate the seeds and be able to grow all sorts of really cool plants. And it's amazing how many food opportunities that are so nutritious that we don't even know about or have access to because the big companies are not growing them, but they can all be growing in a Tower Farm or a Tower Garden at home. I just grow them at home.
We're good. We have time.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So have you connected with anyone from Purdue University to talk about some of their research, especially the seed bank opportunities and communities and stuff?
Question of whether she's connected with anybody with Purdue.
I have connected with a lot of people, including Purdue, and Purdue has a program which is from the FDA called Agribility, and so incorporating individuals with special needs into agriculture, they are one of the programs across the country. So working with Purdue on Agribility, because tower farming is one of the few ways that people either in wheelchairs or with physical limitations or cognitive limitations can actually farm. The other, I've been in touch with Mitch Frazier at AgroSciences, and I have done a lot of networking in order to look at this technology and how we can create more local food sources right here.
Any other questions?
Have you, sorry. Have you talked with, do you see this eventually right now, you're going to farm or the barn as basically the demo space?
Yes.
Is that the Benefit Corporation and you'll still have an escrow?
No, the it's all going to be the Benefit Corporation.
Okay. And have you looked at maybe partnering with, I don't know, Grace Food Trucks or something like that?
Have you partnered with Grace Food Truck yet? There's a break coming up. If you guys are
But just local restaurants and stuff, because from my understanding, which is pretty small, but from my understanding, these are really hard to transport quality.
Yes,
In
exactly.
the restaurant industry. So is that, do you see them being a customer or at least being benefiting from a crop of yours?
So I am not growing crops in order to sell them to restaurants. I would like to sell the Tower Garden or the Tower Farm, or help somebody start a local farm where they could grow crops to sell to restaurants, which I think would be a fantastic business. I think my business is going to be in a little bit of a different direction than selling the produce, because in the barn, we also, I'm hoping to have a farmer's market. So I would have people come in. But that's kind of in the future.
Okay. We're on time. Thank
Okay,
you.
great, thank you.
Okay. Now that we have heard from all of the pitchers, for those of you in the audience as well as those of you joining us online, it is time to vote for the Jackson Investment Group People's Choice Award. So obviously follow these directions. If you can't see it, text your vote to 765-375-1292. I'll repeat that again if you need it, 765-375-1292. Text 1 for Grace Trump, 2 for Clues Brews, 3 for Maker Factory, 4 for McCormick Novelty, and 5 for Zionsville Urban Farms.
Yeah, we're good. It's good.
Okay, we are back. Did everybody have a chance to vote for your People's Choice winner? I think we got everything back up again. Good. Okay, so first prize is the Jackson Investment Group. If the Jacksons would like to join me to present the Jackson Investment Group People's Choice Award. He is talking back there. He's coming. Okay. I have no idea who this is. Is the amount on there as well? Okay.
All right, thanks again, everyone. The Jackson Investment Group People's Choice Award includes a cash prize of $626.84, all of which was donated by an audience members and proceeds of ticket sales. In addition, the Jackson IG People's Choice winner will become a bronze partner with Boone EDC. The Jackson IG People's Choice Award goes to Grace Trump.
Okay, now the picture this way.
Can you tell us how we follow you? So we know where you're at all the time.
So our schedule's always on our website.
Okay.
But then we usually post at the beginning of the week on social media, but our website will be out as far as we are currently scheduled, even like, weddings or whatever.
Do you have a Facebook?
We do, we have Facebook, Instagram,
And it's
Twitter.
called
I'm not worried about our Twitter. Yeah.
Congratulations. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, while we rewrite that check, Rachel told me to stall, so. Here we go. Actually, it's honestly a really good opportunity to just thank all of our partners here. We wanted to mention our business bundle sponsors. This was something kind of new that we tried out. We actually stole the idea from another economic development group. And the idea behind a business bundle is that the sponsors that joined that, they're providing their services for free for a limited amount of time to the, is it to all the participants, or thank you?
It is now. I'll be paying for that out of pocket. Double check on that the next time. Double check on that the next time, guys. But the goal behind that is to just help them be able to attract some of the services that they may need in order to get started. Also, again, just want to thank our team at the Boone EDC, Amy and Rachel, and of course our judges. We have Jeremy Brown with Nameless Catering, Cass Miller with Sunday's Ice Cream, and JD Schomburg with Online Resources. I know they, yes, thank you. Okay, we will ask our judges to join us up here on screen, up here for photos real quick, if you don't mind, for the grand prize winner. So the grand prize winner of launch night here, that award is a $2,500 reimbursable grant. It can be used for business services, so marketing services, business consulting, rent, website design. It's quite open to whatever the business needs, so long as they establish operations and maintain operations here in Boone County. That's the whole point of it, right? So with that, the grand prize winner also needs to be Ron's partner with the Boone EDC. And it is my privilege to award the grand prize award, $2,500 to Clues Brews. The only one in the picture without a mask on.
I'm smiling.
Ready? Come this way.
Smile with my eyes.
Nice. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, I just want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being patient with us as we learn in all new technology and just your flexibility with the time. And we really appreciate the sponsors, really appreciate the team and all of the pitchers. Congratulations on participating. I know the judges have tough decisions tonight, and we definitely look forward to working with all of you in the months ahead at the Boone EDC. So thank you again for coming. Have a great evening.